Coming to you live and direct from Now Valley Entertainment.
What's up, boxing fans? TBE Boxing back at you again and again and again. All right, so let's get into it. So we hear that Mayweather, TBE, is out of retirement now, and he's gonna fight Conor McGregor supposedly. But I'm hearing, that if that fight doesn't, appear or it doesn't happen for whatever reason, then he might be coming back to fight Keith Thurman. Wow, that would be a great fight. I mean, it's a fight that Keith Thurman has been looking for and has been, looking for a long time. He called out Mayweather many occasions, and I think it'll be a great fight. Now, the question, though, is can Keith Thurman beat Mayweather? I mean, like I told you people before that, in some of my other videos that I never really rated Keith Thurman until he fought Porter. Okay, prior to him fighting Porter, I didn't really rate him, but after he fought Porter, I had to give him his respect. Okay, and then after he beat Danny Garcia, he got even more respect. Okay, as far as I'm concerned. So right now, I rate him. Okay, I think he's a great fighter. I think he's good. I think he could beat a lot of guys in the welterweight. Okay, probably not Kell Brook though, but I think he could beat the so-called sensation Errol Spence, for example. Okay, he already beat Porter, which as far as I'm concerned, Porter is one of, like I said before, I'm gonna say it again. Porter is one of the elite fighters in the welterweight division. Like, I really respect Porter a lot, and anyone that beats Porter is a good fighter as far as I'm concerned. You can't beat Porter unless you're a good fighter. There's no way. Okay, Porter is no joke, and he's one of the hardest working guys in the welterweight division. One of the best guys in the welterweight division. So anybody that can beat Porter, you have to give them respect. Okay, it's just that simple. So I give Thurman a lot of respect for beating Porter. Okay, and there's nothing else to be said about that. Okay, so right now, Porter is one of the top guys in the welterweight. I mean, he showed improvement by beating Porter and Daniel Garcia. Now, I will have to say though that beating Porter and Danny Garcia is a long way from beating Mayweather. I'm sorry, but it's just a whole different ball game we're talking about now. And I've heard, I really respect. Another thing I respect about Thurman is his knowledge of the boxing game. Okay, and and he said he's a student of boxing history, and I respect that as well. And plus like I said before, the guy is a real honest guy, and he really, I like his analysis when he's talking about fighters, and he's very, he's very thoughtful. I can see that he's a thinking person, and so I respect him a lot. I gotta give it to him. He's all around. I really respect him. I respect him in the ring and out the ring. So, but I will have to say though that, I mean, I don't really think that he even believes he can beat Mayweather. Just like a lot of other guys, that say that they want to fight with Mayweather. Who would want to fight with Mayweather? I mean, you have a guy coming out, any welterweight would want to fight Mayweather because the money's there. Okay, it's big money. So, win or lose, you're gonna make a ton of cash. You're gonna get a lot of experience, and you're gonna get a lot of attention. Okay, a lot of publicity. Your name is gonna go up. Your name recognition is gonna go up 200% just by the fact that you fought Mayweather. Okay, so there's a lot of pluses to fighting Mayweather, whether you win or lose. Okay, so even if you lose against Mayweather, it's not gonna hurt your career. Okay, as a young fighter or as a young champion. Okay, so if he was to fight Mayweather and lose, which I think he would lose by unanimous decision, now it wouldn't really hurt his career, I don't think. But I just don't. I just can't at this point. I just can't really see him, beating Mayweather, and especially after the fight with, I mean, in the fight against Daniel Garcia, he did a great job, but in that fight, you saw a few things, okay, and there was a few questions, could be asked, about that fight, even though he won the fight, clearly as far as I'm concerned. Okay, but I mean, Danny Garcia is basically a junior welterweight that moved up to welterweight, so he's not really as some people would say, he's not really a full fledged welterweight, but that's no excuse. He's in welterweight now, so you got to deal with it. And so, from that perspective, you can't really put any shade on Thurman's, win over him. Thurman beat him. I mean, it wasn't an overwhelming victory. Okay, let's put it like that. Even though Thurman beat him clearly, it wasn't an overwhelming victory where you can say, well, he just massacred him. No, it was a close fight. Okay, but I'll give the edge to Thurman. So with that being said, any fighter really would want to fight Mayweather. Okay, and I think I think if you were to go into Thurman's heart of hearts, even all those years when he was calling Mayweather, I don't really think he thought that he could beat Mayweather. I mean, maybe he does. Okay, maybe he thinks he can beat with Mayweather, but I don't think he can beat Mayweather, and not many people out there think he can beat Mayweather either, because there's nothing. I mean, his record is just not that extensive to where you can say, yeah, this guy can beat Mayweather. And then when you see his performance against Thurman, against Porter and against Danny Garcia, both fights were close fights. For example, in the Porter fight, he fought the fight of his life. I don't think he fought a great fight, but he had to dig deep to beat Porter, and he had to dig deep to beat Garcia. So, based on those two fights, I don't see where he think that he can, beat Mayweather. Now, Mayweather, is 40 something now, or 40 plus, or 40 or whatever. So, age catches up with everybody. So maybe, he might have a chance. Okay, but I don't know, because the thing about Mayweather is this: he has not taken a lot of punishment in his boxing game. Okay, he's one of the few fighters out there who has never really taken any great deal of punishment to say, well, he's been beaten up or beaten down, and he basically kind of just eased his way through the division. The game of boxing, that is, in turn. Not to say he had it easy, but he made it look easy, and his defensive skills are so great that he never really had to take any real punishment. He never really got beat up. So never got knocked out. He's basically, even though he's 40 years old, it's a 40. He's 40, but he's still in decent shape, because, like I said, he never really took a vicious beating in the boxing game. He kind of kept himself in good condition in terms of not taking too much punishment, not taking a lot of punches. So in that sense, age might not catch up to him as quick as it would some other people, because of the fact that he never took that much punishment. Now, the reason I don't think that Thurman could beat him, is because, let's look at, there's a lot of fighters that he fought that I don't think Thurman could beat, even now. Like, for example, Canelo. We saw the fight with Canelo. He beat Canelo pretty easy. And, Canelo is no joke. Canelo is another monster in this game. He's an elite fighter, but Mayweather made him look ordinary. So, how many people out there think that Thurman can beat Canelo right now? Or could beat Canelo back then when Mayweather fought him? No, there's no way. I don't think that Thurman can beat Canelo, okay? So, but, that's one that's one reason, And then there's also the fact that, when you look at Mayweather's record, let's talk about, let's say, De La Hoya. At the time that Mayweather beat De La Hoya, does anybody think that Thurman, right now, let's say De La Hoya and Thurman was, in the same era, and right now, and do you think that Thurman could beat De La Hoya? Nah, I don't think so. Okay, let's talk about who else? Manny Pacquiao. Do you think that Thurman right now could beat Manny Pacquiao? It'd be I don't know. I doubt it. But anything is possible. But to look at it from look at it on paper, look at it on the record that they have. When you look at Manny's record and you look at Thurman's record, there's just no comparison. So I don't really think he can beat Manny right now. Even right now, even though Manny is kind of up there in age, I don't think he could beat Manny. Okay. So, but I could be wrong about that one, but I don't think so. You'd have to give Manny the edge in any fight against a guy like these guys. Even though people are saying that Manuel is kind of maybe over the hill now, but I don't know. So when you look at Mayweather's record, and you see that this guy's beaten almost, everybody in the division. I mean, he beat Cotto, Diego. What's his name? I forgot his name. I'll come back to him. But he beat Cotto. Now Cotto is never elite fighter and never future Hall of Famer. I mean, do anyone think that Thurman could have beaten Cotto in his prime? I don't think so. So when we look at the record, I just don't see that Thurman could beat Mayweather. I mean, I'm sorry, Thurman. I mean, I respect you, but you're not ready for Mayweather yet. And even at this age that Mayweather is right now, and based on the performance that I've seen you done so far, I haven't seen anything that showed me that you could really, could ever beat Mayweather. Because I mean, it's tough to beat Mayweather, man. I mean, as history has shown, nobody has beaten him yet. Okay, and it's just his skills are just too, he's just too sharp for most of these guys out there. I mean, when you look at the Canelo Mayweather fight, I mean, anybody saw that fight, I mean, Thurman can punch, but do you think he can punch harder than Canelo? I don't think so. You know what I mean? And we saw how Mayweather handled Canelo. I mean, Canelo is a complete fighter. He had all the tools. Okay, so the way Mayweather beat him was he just outboxed him out. And backed him up a lot of times, out slicked him. Basically gave him a boxing lesson. And we're talking about Canelo Alvarez. I mean, this guy is no joke. He fought a lot of people, a lot of good guys, and won. You know what I mean? Cotto, Lara, Devon Alexander, I think he fought as well. No, Trout. Okay, he fought Trout. Not Alexander, Trout. So Trout is another good, excellent boxer, excellent fighter. In his prime. As well, one of the toughest guys out there. Okay. So Canelo is no joke, and I don't think I don't that at this point that or even during the time that he fought Mayweather, I don't think that Thurman could beat Canelo. Okay, and I don't think he could beat him now. So when it's all said and done, people can say what they want to about Mayweather, but we got to look at the man's record and see what he has done. It's all good to say this guy. Every time they come with some new guy that think can beat Mayweather, and it never works. Okay, he puts all of them to to shame. You know what I mean? And so there's always excuses and excuses. Why he this and that. But at the end of the day, we just gotta admit, man, Mayweather is just that good. Okay. TBE is what he is. You understand me? At least in the welterweight division, anyway. I mean, based on his record. Okay, we have to go by his record. He fought everybody he had to fight in this generation, and he beat them all. Okay, now, Thurman could call him out and say, you want to fight him and all that. But I mean, I would call him out if they would let me, and I'd go in there and fight him too. I mean, for the money that I'm going to get, of course. Who wouldn't fight him? You know what I mean? So I think that most of these guys calling out Mayweather, it's not because they think they can really beat him, but it's just because they want the money that Mayweather, and so any welterweight would fight Mayweather right now, because who wouldn't? The amount of money you'd get would be ridiculous, So it is what it is. So at the end of the day, I would love to see him fight Thurman, though, because it would be a great fight. I think Thurman would, because I truly believe that Thurman will go out there and give it all he has. You know what I mean? And like he said himself, I heard him say himself that he would step up his game just for Mayweather, because he know that he'd have to be at his best. But I don't think his best will be good enough to beat Mayweather. I'm sorry, Thurman. You're not ready for Mayweather, okay? And that's all it is. I mean, I don't think you can beat Brook, much less beat Mayweather, okay? And, really and truly, of all the guys out there in welterweight right now, the only guy that I think that might have a chance against Mayweather would be Brook, actually, okay? At this point, right now. So I don't think Thurman can do it. I don't think Garcia. I don't think I don't even want to mention Spence. I don't think Spence can do it either. Okay, it would be funny if he was to fight Spence I wonder if Mayweather wanted to do the vital testing. he wanted he wanted Pacquiao to do it, So I'm sure he would demand that Spence do vital testing as well, do some kind of testing, So that would be interesting, to see how that would work, So if he's really serious about coming back and he does fight Thurman, it'll be great for boxing, okay. But I think that if he was to do that, that should be his last fight. I don't think he should keep pushing his luck. Maybe he can fight for a couple more years. I don't know. But like I say, he hasn't taken that much punishment, and so he's still his body is still fresh. But then it's more to it than that. His motivation. I mean, when you have beaten everybody you had to beat, and have all that money, and I mean, you can't be as hungry as you used to be. You know what I mean? So I don't, I just don't think he can get there. I don't think he'd be motivated to be just continue fighting, these guys for what? I mean, basically Mayweather has nothing to prove right now. He doesn't beat everyone he's supposed to beat. Okay, and the only people that have anything to say negatively about him as such, it's just haters. People that they're just haters. No matter if he was to beat Deontay Wilder, they would still come up with another fighter for him to fight. If he was to beat a heavyweight, they would still say, oh, the guy would. They would have some other excuse why he should fight somebody else to prove how great he is. If he doesn't fight again at all, he's already proven who he is and what he is. Okay, TBE. So I don't really, I'm not one of those people that think, oh, he needs to fight this guy, that guy. For what? He's already done everything he needs to do. He fought everybody he needs to fight. Okay. So, he's done what he needs to do. He has nothing to prove as a fighter, okay? And, I want to say something else about Mayweather besides his fighting abilities, is the fact that he's one of the smartest guys in boxing business-wise, if not the smartest. That's really where his title TBE comes in his business acumen. In his business skills. He doesn't just have boxing skills. He has business skills. Because the way he approached the whole boxing game is the way every fighter should approach it. Be your own boss. Okay, and if you have the chance to become your own boss, become your own. You might not be able to start out as your own boss, but once you start out and you make some money, buy your contract out. Okay, instead of buying luxury this and luxury that, spend that money and buy your contract if you really believe in yourself like that. And take it, to the next level. This is what he's done. He shows you how a boxer should approach the game and what they need to do business-wise to stay on top. Okay, and that's what he has done his whole career. And I respect him even more for that. Okay, so when you look at him, when you look at Mayweather, all around he's just a phenomenal individual. Period. Okay, all around. So it is what it is. I mean, haters, step back. Okay, stop your hating, man. The guy is one of the best that ever stepped in the ring, and he has proven that over and over. And if he was to fight Thurman, he would beat Thurman. Even though I got a lot of respect for Thurman, I respect his, his energy. I respect his desire. I respect his skills. But he's not. He can't beat Mayweather. I don't see it. I mean, anything is possible, but I just can't see it. I'd have to see it to believe it. And, that's my thoughts on that, Thurman, and Mayweather versus Thurman. I see it basically going Mayweather by unanimous decision. No question. Okay, so that's all I got to say about that. I'm out. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. It's right there. Hit it, and hit it again. All right? See you on the next TBE.